The second game that I was trying to play earlier today, if you saw my kind of outtakes video I'd call it, but not like funny outtakes, was Porsche Challenge. So if you've seen that video, obviously you'll know why I'm recording with the camera pointing at the TV. It was a right fucking pain in the ass. So this is a game that I've wanted to play for a bit. I've just not really got around to picking it up. I've been too busy picking up like Sonic PS2 games, but finally picked up that massive gaming haul, as I called it, and this was in there with the stuff. So Porsche Challenge, one car in this game, Porsche Boxster, poor man's Porsche, as people often refer to it as. So not really many options. We'll jump into the championship. It's not really that hard. We'll pick Dan just because he's got the least shittiest coloured car. We'll play it on easy. I played this game the other day and it is quite easy on easy. Well, you know, you'd expect it to be, but you know, you never know. Some games are pretty freaking hard on easy.
Hey, come on, Brody! Come on!
So this game is kind of analog stick compatible. Yeah, it is. You use the left stick for steering and the right stick for braking and acceleration, but it feels really awkward, so I'll turn that off and get back into D-pad mode. And what button is it to change the camera? L2. So change the camera. The camera angles aren't the best. This camera angle here is a bit, I don't know, it's just not ideal, and then that camera angle there is a bit far away, but other than that, I think this game looks amazing. It looked fucking awesome back in the day, and for a PS1 game it's still very playable. It's still, though it's blocky, you can still see why it would have blown you away back in the day. The music's pretty bizarre in this game. It's one thing I'd change in the game. It's kind of like 70s action movie chase scene music, just weird. You need a thumping soundtrack to be racing Porsches around the track. There's not a massive sensation of speed in this game, but it zips along fastly enough and smoothly enough. Doing 235 kilometers an hour. The only thing I'd say is that I've reached the maximum speed of the car way too quick, but that could be down to the fact that German cars are limited to 155 miles an hour. So that could be what 235 kilometers an hour is. I've not done the maths on that, so don't pick me up on that, but I'm just saying. This is kind of an in-house developed game. I think it might have been Sony Computer Entertainment Europe. Sony Computer Entertainment. Doesn't actually say that it's DualShock compatible on the back of the box. So the analog sticks working, that might be because it was designed for an analog steering wheel also. It says that the team that made this, that developed this game, were the team behind Total NBA 96, and if you've played any of Total NBA games you'll know that they're similar, I'd say similar graphics wise this game, not as in style obviously or the actual game engine, but just the way that, you know, solid, highly polished graphics. I remember being absolutely blown away by Total NBA 97, which I used to own. That was an awesome game. Played that for ages, and at the time I only paid a few quid for it. The thing was the PlayStation was that popular. You know, sort of like 1 in 2 households had one. So the games were just so cheap, it was unbelievable. Pretty awesome times. I mean, you can get cheap games nowadays for the Xbox 360 and PS3, but a lot of the time they are cheap for a reason. Back in the days of the PlayStation, I remember one game was Chill, if anyone's ever played that. It was a kind of mediocre snowboard game, but it was a full price release, $39.99, and I picked it up in a shop in Derby. I believe I picked it up in Another World, which was also later known as Forbidden Planet. It relocated. But anyway, I managed to pick it up for £9. You know, after 2 or 3 months of it being out, you know, there were just exceptional deals available like that. You know, it was a game that I expected to cost like 20 quid, and I was just amazed. I was just like so excited to get it for £9. Just a game that, you know, I didn't think I'd be able to afford with my pocket money, and I was just taking it home that day. It provided me with some entertainment, but it was a mediocre game. It was nowhere near as good as, you know, Cool Borders. If you want to pick this game up, it's only a couple of quid. Get yourself on Amazon. I wouldn't say it's the most common game. It's certainly not rare, it's dirt cheap, but for me it's kind of a forgotten title, a bit of a hidden gem. It's definitely kind of aged better than the first Gran Turismo game, I'd say, graphics wise and style wise. I'm not saying it's a better game, I'm just saying it's aged better. It was also really groundbreaking at the time. You forget things like this. The fact that the car was a convertible and you could see, just thought that was a shortcut there, and you can actually see the driver. And when the drivers collide and you know, scrape against each other and jostle, I should say the cars, not the drivers themselves, that will be a bit sexual. But you know, they'll curse each other. We've got like different personalities. See there, and you can see the steering wheel moving. And it was all groundbreaking stuff at the time, you know, there'd not been another game like it. Trivial stuff nowadays. The kind of end of lap sound reminds me of the Extra Life, or is it Checkpoint? I think it's the Checkpoint sound. Reminds me of the Extra Life in Streets of Rage, when you get an extra 1-up. Engine sounds are pretty decent. Just saw a bit of a graphical glitch then, I don't know whether you'll have noticed that. As you'll notice, like I say, the 70s action movie music just continues through on every stage. Different tracks, but they might as well not be, they all sound the same. Yeah, bitch, get out of the way. It is pretty easy to do, you know, what you call perfect laps, where you don't hit the barriers or anything, but I've not been really paying attention up until now. So now I'm going to shut up and try and win this race. Can't really remember what the next track is. I'm not sure whether I got that far when I played this game the other day. There we go, so I've won that race. What is the next track? Oh yes, I did get this far the other day. It's the Alpine course, which is pretty miserable. I remember there's quite a few shortcuts on it to be found. I believe there's shortcuts in this game anyway. I'm just chatting shit if there isn't.
Are you ready? Come on!
One unfortunate thing with playing these PS1 games on the PS2 is that you still need a PS1 memory card. It's not like the PS3 where you can just create a save file on its hard disk. You actually need physically the PS1 memory card. It won't save to a PS2 memory card. So it's sort of worth remembering if you want to pick this game up to play on a PS2. Otherwise, the controller works fine. You know, the game runs fine and pretty sweet. I'm actually using component cables, so probably getting a better picture than I would have done on my original PS1 on a CRT TV. So I think, you know, that's enough gameplay of this game. As you can see, not the greatest racing game in the world. Not a huge amount of cars to select from, obviously. You've just got different colour variations of the same car. There is a test driver who drives a black Boxster that you can unlock. I think his car might be slightly quicker. Other than that, it's just a solid title, and you know, you'll know that if you played this game back in the day. So it's definitely worth picking up, in my opinion. The handbrake turn to finish.